Welcome to Learning Horizons, a series dedicated to reimagining learning, communicating, and collaborating in a remote and hybrid workplace. What is possible? What could be done differently in the digital workplace to ignite creativity and performance? I am Gail Watson, your host, and today I am really looking forward to a conversation in which we looked at creativity and innovation. I'm absolutely delighted to welcome today's guest, Jayne Davids, who is possibly one of the most generous and kind person in L&D. She started her career as a classroom trainer and expanded to designing and developing training. What I love about Jayne is her insatiable curiosity, the way she always asks the right questions, and she's second to none in the industry for her knowledge of video making, and it has become an essential tool in the digital age. Welcome, Jayne, and thank you for joining us today.
Oh, Gail, a wonderful, wonderful introduction. Thank you very much. I feel that I'm blushing, but thank you for lovely, kind words.
Well, it is a pleasure to have you, Jayne. Maybe you would like add a little bit about, your skills in videos and how you fell into it.
Sure, absolutely. So systems training goes hand in hand, really. Video is perfect for sharing, making that visual of maybe a process for systems training. So I sort of fell into video actually about 15 years ago. A client was introducing more of a blended learning approach. So we would then share videos ahead of the classroom session. And they introduced me to Camtasia, and I have not looked back.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I can definitely see how, for processes and system, doing how to video is really efficient. But there are a lot of other way of doing videos. Maybe do you want to give us a little whiz tours of some of the possibilities? Because I guess, the sky is the limit, but of the possibilities of common use of videos in corporate learning.
Some that I've worked with clients recently have been onboarding. And so you could invite all the employees to make a little introductory video, which I think is a really nice, personal, welcoming touch. That also goes hand in hand with this is an introduction to our systems. You'll find this is where your email is. Video can be used for all sorts of things. Sharing feedback. Oh, user-generated content. We have got so much experience, and it's a shame to lose that. So by using video to store some of that knowledge and sharing that with the team, I think is a great purpose for video. Oh, there's so many events,
That
video.
is true. That is true. So yes, we've got the content bit, so stuff like what we're doing now, which is about sharing ideas and sharing a way of thinking. So that's a part of content. The onboarding is quite a good one. Actually, an organization I worked with, they do have they had professionals video made for the different type of roles which are used for onboarding. But as you said, it can be a lot more informal with people introducing themselves using their phones. I think the mobile phone has really changed our approach to video making and sharing. Also like the user-generated content, and it's also something that is with the, quite easily accessible tool, something that can be done quite easily. Now, a lot of the things that we're describing can be done in different ways, like in Word documents, like a PDF, for example, or introducing yourself on an internal Facebook type of solution. But what do you think that makes video better at that? What do they do better? Is that related to maybe trust or relevance or anything else that is part of the emotional engagement with the user?
Great question. I think because it's a visual medium, but it also you can add the audio. And as you've mentioned, it's sort of accessible. People can generate this themselves quite easily. But I think we're all human, aren't we? We like that human connection. And I think having a video where you can see the real person sharing key message or walking you through a process, it sort of it builds that trust, I think, especially if you are regular in posting, you can build up that trust. And also, if you know you're sharing your knowledge, you can build up credibility, and also you can make it relevant. So if you're sharing something that you've experienced, having that personal human touch, I think is really important. I think consistency, I think is really good, and that helps build up the brand. So, you know, with most videos now, you can sort of add in your brand colors and your theme, and I think people get to find out who that person is, you know, whereas and I totally appreciate many people prefer to read a document, and that's absolutely fine. But by providing maybe a transcript that goes with a video, you're reaching a wide audience. But I think visuals is really helpful to, especially explaining those complex tasks. You know, you can do infographics, you can record the process on a screen, you can really enhance the cursor so you can, you know, bring your audience along with you. You can really focus their attention.
And just to jump back on one of the previous sessions and also one of the next sessions where we talk about impact and performance, I think video is very good, isn't it? Because in most cases, we will use the person doing the video is best users. But it's kind of excellent to set the benchmark of what is expected and how to do the things well, which allow for, you know, looking at discrepancy and, as you said, at feedback as well. So it is a tool for performance, and slightly differently, a lot of athletes, you know, get videoed, right, to look back at it and understand, you know, where they can improve. And probably is there something similar, isn't it, in the corporate videos? Probably not as intensively or intensely, but similar. It is a tool for performance as well as engagement.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Um, we did a previous sessions, Jayne, and I don't know if you saw it, with Harry, and she also she she's a specialist in communications and does acting, and they used videos, so they shoot videos in the context of the organizations and do very realistic video of various type of how to write and not so right feedbacks and moment of communication. It really helped visualizing, isn't it, as well? Helping you both being in and out, getting both the distance, getting some distance, but also being in the event.
Exactly. I think you can say, you know, you can find out a lot about a person, can't you? You know, here we are now. We're trying, you know, the eye contact. We're trying to, you know, if you've got eye contact, you've got that trust element, haven't you? And then our body language is saying a huge amount about who we are. And it's all about building that trust and absolutely, I think the visual element is very powerful.
And just to add with what we just said, I'm thinking about a lot of organizations got multilingual workforce. Now, when you give detailed descriptions in a language, let's say English, you might have people who may misunderstood some of the words. So having a video is also a way of simplifying and showing rather than so it removes the barrier of the language in a certain way. So it is also an element of practicality and ease.
Absolutely. And I think that sort of moves nicely on to why we caption videos. So, I mean, there are so easy tools now that you can do speech to text. So you can create the captions that run along the bottom. These are commonly recognized for accessibility. Maybe someone can't hear or is hard of hearing. So it hugely benefits them. But going back to your, if language, if English possibly isn't their first language and they're listening to a video in English, then the captions at the bottom can really help visualize what that person is saying.
That is very good. But you also, and that's something that we wanted to discuss a little bit more, and that will bridge to a future sessions, which is on communities, but collaborating. So how can we use videos to collaborate?
Well, there's a really fun tool that I use called Snagit. And one of the tools that TechSmith provide is the ability to collaborate, so share feedback, give comments, or this can be done like in a PDF, it can be an image, or it can even be a video. So I have prepared a little example, Gail. I wonder if you'd like to demonstrate with me how this would actually work. You can also do this with the Camtasia video editor. So the scenario would be, let's say I am working at creating a document for a how-to guide. So it's a process, very simple step-by-step process. So I've used TechSmith Snagit, which is fabulous at doing screen grabs and creating documentation, but also videos. And what I'd like to invite you to share is your feedback. So I want to know what you think about the layout. Is it on brand? Check for typos and things like that. So what I've done is I recorded my example of my how-to guide, and I'm going to share that with you and then invite you to offer feedback. So does that sound okay?
This sounds very exciting. Let's do it, Jane.
So let me.
And this is live. Well, live. Yes, it's a recording, but it's live. It's happening live. So we might have a few delays. No, it's all popping out, but it is going to be in real time. Let's put it this way.
Okay, so yes, fingers crossed it all goes to plan, Gail. So for anyone that hasn't seen Snagit, Gail, I know you familiar with
I
Snagit.
am, and I really love it.
So this is the Snagit editor. And so what I've done previously, I have gone into the capture tool, which is on the top left-hand side here. And once I've clicked on the capture tool, it gives me the option to, do I want to create an image? Do I want to create a video? Or do I want to have the option once? So all in one is an additional step to say, I actually want a screenshot or a video. So this is something that I prepared earlier. And once I'd captured the documentation in a video form, this is what you can see on my screen here. So I've created this lovely PDF with screenshots, and I'd really like your feedback. So if I'm just going to play it because it is a video. Hi Gail, it's Jane. Thanks so much for taking a look at this how-to guide. If you could just check the detail and let me know what you think. I've used the branding colours and the step tool. If you could just check the layout and let me know. Cheers. So then because it's a video, I've been able to scroll through and share exactly what I wanted. So Gail, I'm just going to go up here and share the link. And what it will do is pop up for you, and you should have a notification that invites you to view that little video that I've made for you. But going back to the collaboration, it's not just sharing, it's going to invite you to add your comment, and you'll also be able to mark up that video. So let's see what feedback you might have. So I'm now going to pause my share And Gail, do you want to share your screen and share?
Absolutely. So let me just pop the link up open and I'll take over. Let me just make sure the sound is sharing. Yes, so we can make sure that the sound is transferred to me too. But now I'm going to shift to the other screen. So sorry if I look like I'm not being trustworthy and shifted my gaze. So here it is. I've received it. I'm not signed it, so you can see that, but I can still make my comments. So there's a series of tools. I can give you a thumbs up, a thumbs down. That would be a bit harsh. It's very good. I can see that I love it. Um, so there's a space for comment, but there are also space to probably highlight things, which I think is quite good. So you can really very quickly go on to the different element of the project and maybe look at some element and make a comment and send it back. Really love it and would add. Here we go. So I send it back to you, and let me just, I can't help it. I'll make a smiley because life is so much better with a smile, isn't it? So it's back to you. So what is, assuming we're not online at the same time, because we could be co-working on it, but we're not online at the same time. I'm having a wonderful time somewhere in Asia, some on a different time difference. So you send it to me. I opened it first thing in the morning, which is the middle of the night in the UK, and sent you my comment.
Mhm.
And now it's 8 o'clock in the morning UK time, and you're ready to start.
Yeah, I am just going to go into my the platform that's called Screencast. So I'm now going to share again. Just bear with me.
It's coming up. It's all very exciting. Here we go.
This is the platform. And my goodness, look, Gail,
Here
as
it is.
click over here on the right-hand side is so I immediately straight away can get notified. And I'm so pleased that you really love it, Gail. So there's no feedback, changes, should I say. So fabulous.
Interestingly, the arrow, as in, but that must be on my part.
I've got to show your annotation.
Oh, here we go.
That's
Here we
like,
go. So brilliant. So yes, so it works. It is a very quick way to actually get feedback uh, on an asynchronous way. Um, without having to have a meeting and go through everything or write a report or write an email. It is very easy, quick, easy, collaborative, and fun to use. So I think it works well. And I think, Jayne, you've got a very good case of a project that the team in your organizations wanted to work. I think it was on a stand you told me about, and you sent the project around and everybody was kind of making comment at different time at different point and in a visual way.
absolutely. Thank you for the reminder for that. I think, yeah, the scenario that I was sharing was, again, using this platform. It was using Snagit to screen capture some meeting notes. And then Screencast was used, and we were all invited to collaborate on this document. And the content in there was, we were going to be on a stand at an event. And because we were all in different time zones, we had somebody in Germany, somebody in America, and we were all pretty busy. And so what we did, rather than trying to find that time where we could all meet online, was the organizer then recorded their meeting notes and shared. So in my own time, and when convenient, I could go through and play that video and then add in my comments and feedback. So if I needed to clarify any comments, it works so well. And that was my first experience of using this tool to collaborate. And I think there's, many years ago, I think I worked with TechSmith and we talked about the flipped classroom, where you're using the blended approach where you share videos ahead of time or maybe documents and things like that, and then use that time in person to discuss and work through real exercises and scenarios. And I think then became the flipped meeting. So this, through COVID, everybody just went on meetings, didn't they? And I think we're all zoomed out. And I think the flip meeting really highlights what you can do with video ahead of a meeting. You know, we've probably all sat through those meetings that are going through the stats and agendas and, that's not necessarily relevant to everybody in that meeting.
Yes,
Video,
it's
you can
true.
fast forward, you can repeat it. So yeah, so that was my experience. So can you think of any others, Gail? You probably
Well, uh, that I think that is a very good example of an unusual use of video, which is collaborations and using it as a brainstorming tools, as a feedback tool. So something a little bit unusual. So we've seen that there were a lot of, well, a lot. There are, yes, there are a lot of different way of using videos. For someone who's never done it, what would be the place to start? What standards can be expected for internal learning purposes? What are the minimum equipment that you need? So do you have any tips for us to get started with this kind of with video in general?
do. And I mean, so many are in that same situation. Video can seem so scary, can't it? And I think, and I used to be in that camp, and I still still very feel uncomfortable on camera, but you don't always have to be on camera. But also how I got started was maybe use your phone, use the camera that you have with you, like we're doing now, Gail. You use Zoom, or Teams or whatever it is. Try to feel comfortable on camera, or the more you do it, the less comfortable it be, and you can always delete it. You don't have to share, and I think just trying to start. If you were to go down equipment, I think the audio is so important. So I would always recommend using a good microphone. And then you need to think about your editing. Now, some mobile phones, if you're using a mobile phone, I think even in Zoom, you could probably trim the beginning and the ending. But obviously, if you're wanting more editing, then you would need to consider probably a video editor. There are some you can get free with free apps I'm not going to name. There are so many out there. And I would say Camtasia is pretty middle of the road, used by many corporate organizations, individuals going through the videos that examples that we've shared, really. And then, you've got more expensive but more complicated. If you need that, I'm not saying better quality, because you can get really good quality.
I think so. I agree with you. I mean, I'm a fan of Snagit. I'm snagging it, everything, screen captures, everything. If I listen to a webinar and someone bring up something interesting, I snag it like in seconds. It's really good. So it can be very simple, as you said. Also, very good point to say that you do not have to necessarily do it on webcam, especially for a tutorial, for an how-to tutorial. You don't have to. You still probably need to have a bit of a voice over explaining what you're doing, in which case you need a microphone. The tech with the big fruit in the middle, we're not naming technology here, normally have a very good built-in capabilities for a lot of creative stuff, including videos. But most corporates don't use it. And there are a lot of software that are available. And as you said, having a decent hardware.
Yeah, yes. The same, Blue Yeti. Oh, you've gone. I can't hear you. Did you press the button?
I did press the button.
We're
It's
live. We're live,
just,
everybody.
oh my word.
Brilliant.
But yes, so that is a very good advice. Yes, and also as you said, most video capabilities, even the free one, can trim the beginning and the end. So anything more sophisticated can be a bit required some paid for tools, but not necessarily. It depends what you want to do, and it depends the tone you want to set up. So if it's about something quick for a small team, per se 10 people, that you want to share internally and you trust your environment, it will be in your team, then you can probably even the sound doesn't you don't necessarily, you can use your phone. I mean, it would be enough if you're not in the middle of a windstorm or by the motorway.
Yeah.
So that is excellent. There is something with video that we will not have time to touch on, but probably worth raising, which is like any sort of content, it obviously needs to be tagged and retrievable, especially when it's about learning, as in how to. And probably it will lend itself to another learning horizons because, yes, we're running out of time. So Jayne, you will be invited back. But it is creating content also means that there is a strategy about how to find and use this content. So definitely a sequel. So thank you very much, Jayne. As we in a group of learning professionals, I think it's only fair enough for us to reflect on our own learning at the turn of the year. And I was wondering, Jayne, in 2025, which is in a few weeks now, what will it be something you would like to learn? Something doesn't have to be necessarily work related, but is it something that you think like, oh, I would love to learn this?
Well, something, Gail, that has sprung to mind is being better at creating accessible learning content. And this is something that I've begun to do this past year, and I am going to be doing a lot more in sharing and helping people also make sure that their video is accessible to all. So I'm doing a lot at the moment learning captions, not just adding captions, but what makes a great caption, the do's and the don'ts. So next year is going to be a lot about tips about making your videos more accessible. So whilst I'm on my learning journey, I love sharing, and I'll be helping others to improve in that area as well.
That is wonderful. And definitely, we touched on it in our first Learning Horizons with Michael Osborne, but I do think that the caption, he touched on the captions when I sent him his versions, his edited versions of the
Okay.
video. So definitely something that, as simple as it seems, is worth making sure we do it right for the benefits of people using it. Jayne, thank you so much. For people watching, we're going to put a series of links in the page underneath the video. So you will be able to retrieve some of the content that we mentioned, such as the tools and how to contact Jayne if you're interested in developing a little bit your skills on video making. Thank you so much, Jayne.
Brilliant. Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for asking. See you later.
Thanks. Bye.